What's worse, no initiate can be considered a true warrior until he has undergone this rite of pain, not once, but 20 times.
Okay. Makes you want to join that tribe, right? Willie, could you get the light for a second? So the question is, and as I was watching, I'm thinking, maybe I shouldn't have shown this video, it's too, so forgive me if that was a little inappropriate. But I thought it was on the very other extreme. What, let's go, we'll just take it back for one. What is valued in that culture? What are they trying to instill in that particular culture? Endurance of pain, yeah. Physical strength, yeah. Courage, right, yeah. You have to face this. And did you get, at the very end, did you get that? They have to wear the gloves 20 times. So, yeah. To me, yeah, this is politically incorrect, but I think the enemy has just taken something and just twisted it, you know, just because he likes to inflict pain. It's just a twisted thing. So, obviously, my example with little Johnny and the example of this tribe are on the opposite extremes, okay? But when we think of masculine initiation, the idea is that it's, in a sense, being born as an adult. It's almost a rebirth. That's how often people think about an initiation, that you are become a man, you, since die to your childhood and become an adult. Can you think of any other, at the very bottom, at your tables? Let's break this up for just a minute or two. Think of some other examples of masculine initiation. And you can think of religious or secular, and we'll share those in a minute or two. So at your tables, think of some other examples of masculine initiation besides what we saw, okay? Susie was thinking 8. Yeah, they're so, yeah. Do you know if they're considered men after that, or? Okay. That's probably a similar idea, though. Yeah. What about you guys? Oh, sorry, Sam. Sam says that when you can buy something and sell it for a profit, you're considered a man. That's why Chinese are such good businessmen. That actually wouldn't be a bad idea. What about this table?
We came up with the same for the bar mitzvah.
Okay.
But we were also talking about the girls, not boys, actually, in this section.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
When the girls are
15. Yeah, it's called a quinceañera. Right. Yeah.
There's nothing compatible for
No.
boys.
No. There are some others. Yeah, no, those are, yeah, there's so, oftentimes there's religious components. So my slideshow is mostly secular, but there's baptism. So, some denominations have the infant baptism, and they have confirmation, with the laying on of hands. Others have, like what we're going to do, we're going to dedicate Corby, and then Corby will be baptized when he's able to understand adult believers' baptism. Isn't that right, son? Yeah, yeah, those, right, absolutely. Like, yeah, well, these are more, in America, I asked this, you know, I surveyed you guys, I surveyed some other people about initiations. And one gentleman said, yeah, driver's license, which is the age of 16, where you can freedom. Other people say when you can drink, which used to be 18, now it's 21. But we've got the bar mitzvah. We've got in some cultures it's military service. Like I talked to a Mexican gentleman this week, and they have compulsory service. It's kind of like it's kind of like a police force, a local police force in this indigenous area. And that's when they become a man. In Paraguay, that's actually supposed to be the country of Paraguay, where I was for 2 years. They have military service, and I think that's after high school, and you have to serve for a year, and it's kind of a rite of passage. Now this one, and then Africa, scarring, which oftentimes they're about endurance and pain in some cultures. This is an interesting one because we're going to come back and talk about this one. This is actually, I made it small because it's actually a girl. But this girl she's having her face painted. And it's something called the Vision Quest, and it's from the American Indian culture. And it's interesting because Eldridge takes this, and again, not to support the Vision Quest, but to a Christian version of that. The idea is that when you're a teenager, that you go by yourself, you fast, a period of fasting, and they ask, well, in my opinion, they'd be demons, but they ask the great spirits to kind of have a spirit guide to speak to them. And so, and we'll come back to this, but anyway, once they have that quote-unquote revelation, then that animal supposedly guides them throughout their life. So Eldridge, and we're going to talk about this in a little bit, he says, well, maybe a Christian version of that, where you ask God, not you ask the Holy Spirit. So anyway, so these are some of the ideas of masculine initiation. So leaving childhood and becoming a man. And in our culture, again, we don't really have a good one. We don't have something formal, a ritual necessarily. Yeah.
I would say that
I actually thought of that. That's a great example. I was there, yeah, and I think I prayed or said something, but yeah, so it was a chance where Pastor Ed and others spoke words of affirmation. Justin, you've accomplished this, and you now have the rank of Eagle Scout, a high honor. So there's a lot of parallels. That's a great example. Yeah. Okay, we're on page 3 of your handout. Flip to the next page, please. And okay, I mentioned that, so John Eldridge has 3 boys, and they're old enough that 2 of them, their initiations are described in the book. He dedicates 2 chapters to them. And these are not in any particular order necessarily, but the bullet points, and you just follow along. And again, stop me if you have questions or you have a comment. But this was, John planned the initiation with input from his wife and son. So his wife was involved. You think, well, this is just for men. His wife was involved. He discerned the right time for his son. Just like little Johnny playing his video game wasn't ready. Eldridge, I think it was the age of 14 for his boys. I think I remember that. But he discerned that the boy was ready at the age of 14. And by the way, it was a full year. So it wasn't just a one ceremony, but it was a full year of purposeful interaction for this initiation. Eldridge believes that you can't really become a man, becoming a man depends on being in the company of other men. You can only learn to be a man from other men. So he always does it by himself or with a company of other men and boys. And so the next point is he took different kinds of trips. So in conjunction with his son, they planned different activities together. And some of the activities were kind of more along the lines of adventures. If he's wanting to promote bravery or courage or endurance, they went hiking and they went to different things. I think one trip was to a ranch to learn a skill. You might say, James, I'm not going to go to a ranch in Colorado so my kid can learn how to rope a cow. And I understand that, but think of how you could apply this to your context. What could you do? But they're very outdoorsy, and so that was one of the tasks. They went to a ranch, and from an older man, that the son learned a skill from the older man. The idea of a skill being passed on.